The most hated man is often the one with the most potential. There is a strange pattern that repeats itself throughout human history. The people who are remembered today were rarely loved when they were alive. They were criticized, rejected, mocked, misunderstood, and sometimes even hated. Why? Because potential is not always attractive. Very often, potential is disturbing. Most people assume hatred is directed toward weakness, but in reality, hatred is frequently directed toward possibility. A person with great potential is a reminder of what others could have become. And reminders are uncomfortable. When someone lives beyond the limits accepted by society, they expose those limits without speaking a word. They force others to confront questions they would rather avoid. Why am I not doing more with my life? Why did I abandon my dreams? Why did I choose comfort instead of growth? The person with potential becomes a mirror, and many people do not hate the mirror because it is ugly. They hate it because it is honest. The crowd prefers familiarity over greatness. Human beings naturally seek stability. We trust what is familiar. We feel safe around people who behave like everyone else. But a person with unusual potential rarely behaves like everyone else. He asks different questions. He sees different possibilities. He refuses to accept certain assumptions. This creates tension, because society often rewards conformity long before it rewards originality. The crowd says it wants innovation, but when innovation arrives, it often appears as disruption. The crowd says it values truth, but truth frequently challenges comfortable illusions. The crowd says it admires courage, but courage often looks like stubbornness before success arrives. This is why many exceptional individuals spend years being misunderstood. People judge them according to present appearances rather than future possibilities, and potential is invisible. Only results can be seen. Friedrich Nietzsche and the problem of greatness. Friedrich Nietzsche understood this deeply. Nietzsche believed that exceptional individuals often stand apart from the crowd, not because they desire isolation, but because they refuse to submit entirely to collective expectation. According to Nietzsche, society tends to create values that preserve comfort and equality. Anyone who rises beyond those values becomes a threat, not necessarily a physical threat, a psychological threat. His existence proves that another way of living is possible, and that possibility can be terrifying, because once people see what is possible, excuses become harder to maintain. Why mediocrity often attacks excellence? Imagine two people. One abandons his dreams. The other continues pursuing them despite failure. The second person creates discomfort for the first, not intentionally, simply by existing. His dedication exposes another person's surrender. His discipline exposes another person's excuses. His courage exposes another person's fear. The hatred that follows is often misunderstood. People think they hate the successful person, but what they actually hate is the feeling awakened inside themselves. The successful individual becomes evidence that more was possible, and evidence can be painful. Arthur Schopenhauer and envy. Arthur Schopenhauer argued that envy is among the most powerful human emotions. According to him, people often suffer more from another person's success than from their own failures. Why? Because another person's success creates comparison. Comparison creates awareness, and awareness creates pain. The existence of someone with immense potential can therefore become unbearable for certain individuals, not because the person has harmed them, but because he represents something they feel they have lost. A possibility, a path not taken, a better version of themselves. The loneliness of potential. One of the tragedies of potential is that it often produces loneliness before it produces achievement. People celebrate success. They rarely celebrate the years of isolation that precede it. Before the world applauds a person, it often ignores him. Before the world understands him, it misunderstands him. Before the world respects him, it doubts him. This is why many individuals with extraordinary potential experience periods of profound loneliness. They are living according to a future vision while everyone else judges them according to present circumstances. The distance between those two realities can be painful. The real reason potential is hated. Potential threatens certainty. It challenges established boundaries. It asks uncomfortable questions. It suggests that life could be different, and human beings often resist anything that forces them to rethink themselves. The most hated man is not always the most dangerous, nor is he always the most talented. Often, he is simply the person whose existence makes others confront truths they would rather avoid. He becomes a living reminder that growth is possible, that excuses are fragile, that limits are often self-imposed, and nothing disturbs the comfortable mind more than the realization that it could have been more. Final thought. The most hated man is often the one one with the most potential, because potential is not merely a gift, it is a challenge directed at everyone who encounters it. Some people respond to that challenge with admiration, others respond with hostility, but both reactions emerge from the same source, the recognition that they are standing in the presence of possibility, and possibility is dangerous.
Because once a human being sees what is possible, he can never completely return to the comforts of believing less.